A cultured and elegant midfielder best remembered for his metronomic long-distance passing and cannon-esque ball striking, Xabi Alonso's playing career was a thing of beauty. Born in the Basque country, he rose through the ranks of his boyhood club Real Sociedad, and went on to represent Liverpool, Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, winning an extraordinary 13 club honours to complement his World Cup and Euros medals with his beloved Spain. Now in his first management role with Bayer Leverkusen after a 3-year crash course with Real Sociedad B, he is looking as comfortable in the dugout as he did in heated midfield battles against the best players of his generation. His Die Werkself side have risen from 17th to 7th, wowed crowds with their attacking play, and reached their first European semi-final in 21 years. Linked with a host of clubs this summer including Spurs and Real Madrid, it surely won't be long before one of Europe's elite comes knocking. So without further ado, welcome back to Explained. This is how Xabi Alonso transformed Bayer Leverkusen. It's fair to say that Xabi Alonso had all the tools to make a name for himself in the management world. As two-time Champions League winner Jose Mourinho, who managed him for 3 years at Real Madrid, explained, his knowledge of the game was very high, and he then played in Spain, Germany and England. He was coached by Guardiola at Bayern, by myself at Madrid, Ancelotti at Real Madrid and Benitez in Liverpool. So if you put all that together, then I would say that Xabi has all the conditions to be a very good coach. It's not surprising Alonso had such a deep understanding of the game. He's been surrounded by it since birth. His father Perico was a very talented footballer in his own right, winning a brace of La Liga titles with Real Sociedad and a further one with Barcelona, whilst also representing Spain at the 1982 World Cup. After retiring in 1988, he immediately transitioned into management, overseeing sides including San Sebastian, Eibar and his beloved Real Sociedad. Growing up alongside his brother Mikel, who made over 400 career appearances in his own right, Xabi was never far from the game. Whether it was watching his dad take training, honing his skills playing on the streets of San Sebastian, or on the Playa de la Concha, where he befriended a young Mikel Arteta, Alonso was living, breathing football. It's no surprise, therefore, that after retiring in June 2017, Alonso chose to stay in the game. Within a year, he completed his UEFA Elite coaching course alongside former teammate Xavi and Raul. It was around this time that Bayern Munich chairman Karl-Heinz Rummenigge started singing his praises, saying in 2018, "He will be a fantastic head coach. He radiates a natural authority, he's had great coaches, he speaks several languages. I would like him to return to Bayern someday." But first, he needed to gain some experience. After a brief spell managing Real Madrid's under-13 side, who he led to an unbeaten season winning 22 games out of 23, he joined Real Sociedad B in June 2019. In his first year, he took a side that had finished 12th prior to his arrival to 5th, and the following campaign sealed their promotion to the Segunda Division for the first time since 1962. So impressed were Borussia Mönchengladbach that they made an approach for him in March 2021, but Alonso rejected it, signing a new one-year deal. Although the following campaign may have seen them relegated, Alonso's implementation of a flexible possession-based 4-2-3-1 or 3-4-3 system had impressed. He left the club in May 2022, but when the Bundesliga came calling again 5 months later, he answered and was announced as Bayer Leverkusen's new boss in October 2022. The task in front of him was massive. We need to make abundantly clear that Bayer Leverkusen are not some German minnow. Whilst their 30,000-seater Bay Arena stadium may only be the 24th biggest in Germany, the club is backed by its founders Bayer, a pharmaceutical company which made €17 billion in sales in 2020. An ever-present in the Bundesliga ever since gaining promotion in 1979, they have consistently challenged for the best of the rest tag, finishing third or above 11 times in their history and competing in the Champions League 11 times this century. The club nearly achieved the unthinkable in 2002. With 5 games of the campaign remaining, Leverkusen were on for a treble, which would have been the first in German football history. Infamously, the club ended up with nothing, earning them the unwanted moniker of Bayer Leverkusen. But if you think things were bad then consider the scenario that Alonso walked into. The club were onto their third permanent manager in 18 months, and whilst his predecessor Gerardo Seoane had got off to a flying start, leading them to third in his debut season, their best finish for 6 years, by October of the following year things were looking bleak. One win in their opening 8 league games had left them stranded in 17th, their worst ever start to a Bundesliga season. They lost to third-tier side SV Elversberg in the DFB Pokal and taken 3 points from their first 3 Champions League games. With their season hanging by a thread, they turned to a manager who'd never managed in a first division, let alone a top 5 league. Even sporting director Simon Rolfes seemed close to admitting it was a gamble, saying it as unveiling, "In Xabi Alonso we have signed a coach who, as a player, was an absolute world-class professional for many years." Once again referring to that magnificent playing career rather than his relatively limited managerial CV. But he needn't have worried. Alonso has been a revelation. In his 24 league games in charge, they've come away with 3 points on 13 occasions, with their 44 points only topped by Bayern, Dortmund and Leipzig. The team that lost to Hoffenheim and Augsburg under Seoane, two sides have been marred in a relegation battle this season, have beaten Bayern, Leipzig and Europa League holders Frankfurt. A 2-1 defeat to rivals Köln in early May might have ended any hopes of Europa League qualification, but with games against Gladbach and Bochum to come, there is every chance they qualify for the Conference League by finishing 6th, something unthinkable back in October. So that's what's happened, but how has he done it? One of the key elements of Alonso's work this season has been his pragmatism. He took over a side that pressed incredibly high. Their average ball recovery time across Seoane's 8 matches was 14.9 seconds, but if the press was broken, their defence was disjointed. They conceded 13.4 shots per game across those matches and conceded an average of 2 goals per game. Alonso's first move was to drop the 4-2-3-1 formation and instead implement a 3-4-3. He instructed his players to ease off the press, with the average ball recovery leaping from 14.9 seconds to 16.7 seconds across his first 7 games in charge. Although the results weren't instantaneous, wins against Union Berlin, Köln and Stuttgart by an aggregate score of 9-1 had the players believing in his methods. Across his first 7 games, their shots conceded per game dropped from 13.4 to 10.9, and their goals against from 2 to 1.4. Alonso's side have conceded just 19 in 20 matches, the best record in Germany, 8 fewer than leaders Bayern Munich. His primary aim was to utilise the incredible pace Bayer had in transition. With Basque, Frimpong and Diaby all clocked running at more than 34 km per hour this season, and the latter two ranking in the top 5 fastest players in the Bundesliga, they've been wreaking havoc on opposition defences, with their 5 counter-attack goals only topped by Union Berlin's 7. And since establishing a more solid defensive platform during the back end of 2022, Alonso has reintegrated their pressing game, dropping their average ball recovery time from 16.7 seconds to 14.8, quicker than during Seoane's chaotic final few matches. It would be unfair on Alonso's predecessor to not mention the impact of Florian Wirtz's recovery. Out since March 2022 to December with a cruciate ligament injury, the 20-year-old attacking midfielder, already capped 6 times by Germany, has seamlessly returned to his frightening best. Bayer Leverkusen have plenty of excellent players with Tar, Tapsoba and Kosunu, 3 centre-backs of enormous promise, Amin Adli in the form of his career and Diaby and Frimpong attracting admiring glances from around Europe, but there can be no doubt about it. Wirtz is the jewel in the crown. Blessed with wonderful balance, vision and close control, Wirtz's return to the first 11 has made an enormous difference to the variety of Leverkusen's attacking play. Only fit enough to play just over 900 league minutes this season, he's already racked up 1 goal and 6 assists, with his 0.42 expected assists per 90, bettered only by Thomas Müller. Leverkusen averaged just 9.6 shots per game without him, compared to 13.6 when he's on the pitch. Painting Leverkusen as solely a counter-attacking team would be an unfair characterization. After all, this is the team that ranked 5th for possession, pass accuracy and short passes, showing how patient Alonso's side can be before exploding into action. We also get the impression that Alonso is a very good man-manager. Callum Hudson-Odoi, on loan in West Germany from Chelsea, has barely featured this term, making just 7 Bundesliga starts. But even the Englishman speaks warmly of Alonso, telling Sky Sports he is a very good person off the pitch and a very good manager on it. Multilingual, having spent so much of his career in different countries, he's managed to unite a squad that has players hailing from nations as diverse as Finland, Ecuador, Burkina Faso, Iran and the Czech Republic, amongst many others. With interest in players such as Frimpong, Diaby and Wirtz, Leverkusen might have a difficult time keeping this squad together, but in our opinion, they might have a harder time retaining Alonso. With just 1 year remaining on the deal he signed back in October, and having so impressed during his time in Germany, there is a very good chance he takes on a European giant before too long. The man who has taken to management with the same elegance, class and most of all ability that he showed on the pitch, we could be looking at Europe's next elite manager. So guys, that was our explained on how Xabi Alonso transformed Bayer Leverkusen so quickly. What did you guys think of it, and who do you want to see us cover next on Explain? Let me know in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to Football Daily, and I'll catch you next time.